I'd say we're in the wrong part of town.
I say we're in the wrong town.
They got some lights on. Ain't no bag on jumpers in there.
Yeah, at least we can make a phone call.
Get back to the party. Slice with sausage and peppers. Make that 2.
And 3 coffees, please.
Dad, you okay?
man. Don't kill me. I got a son old as you.
You can get a cop over here. They got him in the bushes and they're hitting him with the crowbar.
What, you want to get up? Just stays by the house. Against the car. We're a long way from home, fella. What are you doing in Howard Beach? Ah! Well, I broke down. What's your name, fella?
Cedric, Sanford.
What do you know about a shooting on Linden Boulevard?
Nothing.
Nothing. Put him in the bag. Step out of the car here with me, please. Oh, God! Michael! Michael! Yo!
I'm with the 124 precinct at Hunter's Point, Lieutenant. My son might be involved in this. He thinks he ran over something on the road, an old tire.
Him! That's the kid who killed my stepson!
Appreciate you coming back. Need him for anything.
That's the kid! Oh, somebody help me, please! That's the kid who run him down!
I looked everywhere, Dad, but I could not find that blue shirt I gave you for your birthday.
I was sort of saving it for myself.
All I found were some dirty sweatshirts. All my good stuff's in the wash.
Closet, top shelf.
Kevin, it's your turn to get these dishes loaded.
How am I getting into law school if I flunked this history test?
Should have thought of that last night.
Or the night before.
Morning, everybody. Morning, Lisa.
Hi, Doug.
Sorry I'm late, boss.
Hang on, will you, Dad? We're in the middle of a domestic crisis here.
And he's not looking forward to facing that firing squad.
Well, he's got no choice. This meeting's been set up for a week.
Thanks, Dad.
I wish I looked as good in my clothes as you do.
See what happened in Howard Beach?
Yeah, terrible. I'd like to unravel that one.
No, thanks. Coffee.
Bye, guys.
Oh, yeah, Brian.
Bye.
Where's Kevin?
I know a lot of you are upset about the two officers who were indicted in the Bronx last week. But as special prosecutor for the state of New York, I'm pledging to uphold the integrity of the entire justice system. That means going after crooked judges, crooked lawyers, and crooked cops. I know a lot of you feel cops are easy targets. Too easy. But I promise you, we're not turning our backs on corruption at other levels of the system. That's why I'm here to ask for your help. Spread the word among your members. If you see or hear any evidence of wrongdoing, please contact me through the Governor's Criminal Justice Office in Manhattan. Thanks very much for your time.
Let me tell you, boss.
You really know how to work a crowd.
Police received several anonymous phone tips that resulted in the arrest of 10 youthful suspects in the brutal attack last night in Howard Beach. At a news conference this morning, Mayor Koch described the incident as the #1 case in the city.
We're bringing in some more of them right now.
That's John Lester, the kid with the record?
Yeah, we booked last summer on car theft, possession of a loaded .32. Pleaded guilty to the weapons charge.
That one over there?
Scott Kern, 17, clean record. Senior at Adams High.
That's Ladone?
Jason Ladone. Gave us some names of his friends this morning.
What about him? How come he's limping?
Michael Perone? Says he was in a motorcycle accident last year.
Would you believe they cut me off?
We slammed on the brakes and almost hit him. Then we started screaming back and forth. You know, calling them niggers and them calling us honky and stuff like that. Then we went back to the party and we told everyone what happened. And I said, hey, let's go back to the pizza place. Let's go get him. None of this would have never happened except for when they came out of the pizza place. One of the black guys pulled a knife. It's true.
So what are we doing here, Counselor? We gonna let him go or what?
Give me a minute, will you? I'm waiting for a phone call from my boss.
You're the assistant DA. You know we can't hold these kids without any hard evidence or a complaining witness.
We're still trying to get Sandiford down here. He doesn't want to cooperate.
Sandiford at home?
He's not available right now.
Well, we have some photographs to show him. Maybe the guys that beat him up.
My stepfather has an attorney who's representing him now.
Okay, but could he just take one
The
look at
lawyer's
mug?
name is Clayton Berry. From now on, all requests are to be handled through him. It's gonna be okay. We're doing what Mr. Berry told us to do.
If you're not willing to cooperate, Mr. Barry, we have no
Perfectly
case.
willing to cooperate.
Then get your client down here. We need Sandiford to view the lineup and identify the suspects.
That's a problem for us. Until you arrest the driver of the car that killed Michael Griffith, my client has nothing to say.
We're still investigating the circumstances of Griffith's death. In the meantime, we've got an assault case. We need your client as the complaining witness.
Let me tell you something. If Sandiford was white and had seen his own son killed by some black kid, you know damn well you'd have locked that kid up fast and then made sure you had the right guy.
You're implying the DA's office is protecting this kid because he's white.
My client has identified the killer of Michael Griffith, and until you act on that information, we will resist all efforts to cooperate.
Mr. Ross, what evidence do you have to support assault and homicide charges?
Your Honor, if Mr. Sandiford were present, his testimony would be clearly sufficient to establish probable cause.
In plain English, Mr. Ross, we all know you went to law school.
Mr. Sandiford would be able to tell us exactly how these young men assaulted him.
Well, Mr. Sandiford is not here, is that correct?
Yes, sir. He's home, recovering from a serious eye injury, a severe concussion, and multiple head wounds that required 66 stitches to close. That's why I'm respectfully requesting a postponement, in order that...
Motion denied. And I certainly see no evidence to support a homicide charge.
If Your Honor could consider even a brief adjournment, I think...
In the absence of Mr. Sandiford's testimony, I see no legal reason to keep these young men incarcerated.
But, Your Honor...
I find only enough evidence to sustain a charge of reckless endangerment. I am setting bail at $25,000 for Mr. Lester and $15,000 for Colonel Ladone.
Hello? Just a minute, please. It's Harry Gammons. For you.
Hello? Yes, Harry. Yeah, I can make it. 3 o'clock will be fine. Yeah. He wants me at a meeting tomorrow.
Councilman Burke and I just got back from Albany. Meeting with the governor on this Howard Beach situation. The potential for racial violence here is unlimited. We need your help, Joe.
What do you want me to do?
Take over the case?
As I understand it, the white kids all made bail on minor charges.
That's why the black community is so outraged. They say it's murder. We need to show that we're taking their point of view seriously. If your investigation shows that murder charges are warranted, you go straight to a grand jury and reinstate those indictments. But if you find that murder charges are not warranted, then you'll have to make that argument to the black community in the strongest possible terms. Sandiford's lawyer has agreed to let him cooperate if you're involved. You'll have a free hand and all the resources you need.
I'll let you know in the morning.
How early?
But Howard Beach is in Queens. Doesn't the Queens DA have jurisdiction? And has that ever happened before? Taking the case away from the elected DA? And why do they need a special prosecutor? I mean, if there was a special investigation for every unsolved crime in New York City, there wouldn't be enough prosecutors to go around.
I'm so glad I asked for your opinion.
Yeah. Save it for law school, Kevin. And pass the potatoes, please, dear.
I think you should do it, Dad. I feel bad for the family of that young boy who was killed. I'm sure they'd like to know how it happened.
There's also a very serious issue here. Rightly or wrongly, blacks are convinced that a white man will never be convicted of killing a black in this city.
I don't know, Dad. Sounds like you're being dragged from one political mess to another.
Yeah, you're feeling burnt out on corruption. Where do you get a taste of Howard Beach?
Yeah, well, at least Howard Beach can't be swept under the rug.
But what if it goes to court, Dad? How long has it been since you faced a jury in a major trial?
The Brasher case, wasn't it?
Brasher?
I was just a kid.
I never even heard of it.
So what do you think, Dad? You gonna take the case or not?
I think you should forget about Charlie Brasher and take the case.
What's Brasher got to do with this?
Isn't that what's bothering you? The Brasher case?
How did you know?
23 years of marriage?
That is what's bothering me. It bothers me every day, every time I think about it. Every time I visit him in prison.
That was 7 years ago. The obstacles in that case were almost impossible to overcome.
And almost exactly what I'd be up against in Howard Beach. A complex, highly emotional situation where it's probably going to be impossible to convince anybody of the truth. There's a hell of a lot more at stake here than one guy accused of a rape he didn't commit.
If it's that important, why are you even hesitating?
Here's all the assembled material on the case. AID reports, body measurements, motor vehicle data, etc. Okay, these are the DD5s. They fall into two categories, the precinct and the bias investigating unit downtown. So these are the statements from the kids. Some more DD5s, paramedics, clerks at the precinct, anyone who may have had contact with Sandiford.
Did you videotape any of these statements, Counselor?
I don't believe the equipment was available.
I think the captain borrowed it to tape the Knicks game.
Just joking.
What do you have from Mr. Sandiford?
He never made a formal statement as such, but we do have third-party accounts.
Counselor, did you ever speak with Sandiford personally? You know, try to gain his confidence?
Actually, no.
You know what these so-called third-party statements amount to? Quote, Cedric was treated very nicely. Cedric was never handcuffed. Cedric was offered 15 cups of coffee.
The kids get to the pizzeria, they get out of the car, and then what? it's all a blur?
That's what we're gonna have to find out.
The only way we're going to get this case to the grand jury fast enough is to work flat out. Cam and I have gone over every scrap of paper. Putting it mildly, our friends in Queens didn't even get to first base. They never established the time sequence or the geography of the chase. They never even got a copy of the autopsy reports.
Anything in the victim's background that would explain why they took a stroll on Howard Beach at 1 in the morning?
I'm really sick of that type of question, Ed. They're allowed to stroll wherever they want.
It could be very important to know what the victims were doing in Howard Beach.
Well, they weren't strolling.
They could have been shopping. The autopsy report shows a trace of cocaine in Griffith's body.
Okay, first thing is to break down the case into smaller pieces. Try to figure out what really happened. Doug, you're going to drive out to Howard Beach this afternoon. Start a canvass of the neighborhood. Talk to every kid who stayed behind at the party. I want to know what they heard when the gang came back after the beating.
Gotcha.
Ed, you're going to hit the books at the law library.
There goes my tan.
This is important, Ed. If there's any chance that chasing a guy onto a parkway can be called murder, we're going to have to come up with a legal precedent. That's going to take some digging.
Got it.
What about the boy that was driving the car? The one that Santa Fe said was the killer?
I want you to check him out. The kid says he and his girlfriend were coming back from a play at Brooklyn College. Time the route. Find out if he has any friends or family in Howard Beach. Take Ed with you. Any questions?
Yeah. What's your hunch, boss? Have we got a murder case?
I have no idea.
Like an iron pipe, you know.
What about you, Tim? Were you carrying a weapon of any kind?
No way.
The white boys say you had a knife.
That's a load of bull, man. I didn't have nothing on me that night.
Morning. Hi. Another copycat racial incident last night. Talked to the kids who stayed at the party. All except one little thug. His mother slammed the door in my face. My boy can't talk to you, she tells me. He's an Eagle Scout. He's working on this project. Say, it was a pretty kinky party for a bunch of young kids. They had a stripper, a lot of hard liquor, and get this, the stripper was dressed like a cop. I think I might know her.
Did they say anything about what happened when the kids got back to the party?
Yeah, one of them, a Dominic Manzone, said he heard a bunch of them bragging about how they chased some black kid onto the highway.
Talk to any of the perps?
Nobody's talking, all just hiding out.
The driver's story checks out pretty good. He and his girlfriend went out to dinner after the play. The waiter remembers him. And I timed the route. Puts him at Cross Bay Boulevard no earlier than 12:50, right about the time of the accident.
No way this guy had time to hook up with the gang or be part of the chase.
I'm convinced he just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. He hit Michael all right, but he's got no connection to anyone in Howard Beach.
He even volunteered to take a lie detector test.
How come the cop said there was no damage to his vehicle?
He came back to the scene in his father's Dodge Colt. His original car was pretty well banged up.
I think it's time to get to Sandiford.
We were only in that pizzeria for
a few minutes.
And you and Michael and Timothy Grimes came out the front door.
We came out to the place. The white kids was pulling up in their cars, screaming at us, throwing things at us. That's when I got hit for the first time.
With what?
I went over this a million times with the cops that night. None of them believed me.
It would be very helpful to hear it again.
I don't know what they hit me with. Could have been a rock.
We're pretty sure that this is the street where you and Michael were chased by the cops. Here's the pizzeria, okay? Here's where we are now. The Belt Parkway is just to our right.
You understand the parkway's parallel to us.
Man, I don't know. It was dark out, all right. From Brooklyn, I don't know nothing about Queens.
This is the corner of 86th Street. Based on the 911 call, we think this is the spot where you will be.
I was hurting real bad. I look up from the grass and I see Michael go through the fence. A few minutes after that, I heard the boom.
So you say you were beaten before Michael got hit by the car?
Wait a minute. Michael's body was found 200 yards north of here.
What is that woman with, the one who called 911?
Teresa Fisher? Right there. Where the for sale sign is. She and her sister left town. She don't want to talk to us. She's scared? It's a wise guy neighborhood. There's bosses and 3 families living here, and the word is they don't want to see those kids sent away.
Cedric, we're having a real problem finding any connection between the driver of the car that hit Michael and the rest of the kids who chased you.
I seen it with my own eyes. It's the same kid who was chasing us in the Oldsmobile.
The car that hit Michael wasn't an Oldsmobile. And even if it was, how did they get around and onto the highway at exactly the right moment? Huh? What did the kid do? Wait at the top of the entrance ramp? It was dark. How's he gonna see Michael down here? How's he gonna time it?
Oh, man.
Hey, what?
What in God's name? You see how easy it is when nobody's trying to kill you. I think about that night all the time. Seeing Michael's body crumple in his brain, scattered across the highway. Sometimes I wish I'd run out there with him. You okay?
Huh? Yeah.
Damn it, we better get a straight story out of someone. By the time we get to the grand jury, half of Queens will be burning. We've got to turn one of those white kids, get them to testify against the others. It's our only chance to find out what really happened.
Problem is, Joe, they don't have a whole lot of incentive to cooperate.
Who was the first one to get a lawyer?
Kid name of Robert Riley. Cops never even talked to him.
Why, Joe?
Sometimes the first ones to get counsel are the ones that have the most to hide.
That's why he gets the big bucks.
Start with Mr. Riley, work your way down the list. Call the lawyers first thing in the morning.
Joe, you know we don't have enough hard evidence to really lean on them.
Tell them the train's leaving the station and they only got 24 hours left to make up their minds. Someone died out there on the highway and we got to find out the truth.
Joe, Harry Gammon's office just called. In order to prevent further outbreaks of racial violence, the Board of Ed has ordered plainclothes cops to every secondary school in the city. Coffee.
Robert, why don't you and your parents wait for me in the deli? Relax. Ball's in my court now. Robert Riley may or may not have knowledge of certain facts. However, if he does decide to try to recall those events, we'd expect...
We're not here to discuss what you'd expect. We both know your client's in a jam. If he decides to talk, fine. If not, we have a lot of other kids coming in here. I'm only going to make a deal with one of them.
I didn't mean to give the impression we aren't prepared to cooperate. I just want to make it clear that my client was simply a bystander. Robert Riley was not directly involved in any of the violence.
No good. We know he and Lester stirred things up at the party. We know Riley drove his own car to the pizza place with 3 of the others.
Mr. Hines, driving to a pizza place is not an indictable offense.
We also know he was part of the gang that chased Griffith and Sandiford onto 156th Avenue.
Okay. He's prepared to describe the chase, as much as he remembers, in return for full immunity.
I'm not interested in this offer. You tell Riley's parents their son is going to be indicted. You tell them the next time they hear from you, he'll be facing a charge of second-degree manslaughter.
And that's when the black guys came out of the pizza place.
Okay. Mr. Riley. Is that when you say you saw the knife?
Yeah, one of them flashed it at us.
Which one?
The young guy. Not the one that was run over. The other guy.
Grimes.
Yeah.
Who had the bat at this point?
Scott Kern.
He had your bat, the metal bat?
He was banging it on the ground, trying to threaten him.
That's when they started running.
I grabbed the bat from Scott, and I got ready to swing it at him. That's when they took off. Grimes headed for the overpass. The other 2 turned left down 156th Avenue.
What happened to the cars, Mr. Riley?
A couple guys piled in and took off. They slowed down and let me jump in.
Okay, so now you're chasing the black guys in a car.
Nah, chasing them really, just keeping up.
And there's another group of white kids on foot?
Had you been drinking that night, Mr. Riley?
I might have had a few beers.
How many beers?
10 or 12.
10 or 12 beers? Were you drunk?
I was feeling all right.
Did you ever tell anyone that you were so drunk that night that you don't remember what happened?
I don't think so.
Okay. So, now you're in a car chasing these black guys.
Well, just one, actually.
Oh, you lost me there. You were driving behind how many black guys?
Just one. They'd split up. The young kid, Griffith, turned right onto 90th Street.
Show us.
One guy goes straight. The other one turns and starts running towards the parkway.
What did you do?
Went after him, right up to the guardrail.
In the car?
As far as we could. Then we got out and chased them.
All 4 of you?
5. Michael Perrone was there, too.
We have a witness who swears Michael Griffith ran through a hole in the fence at 86th Street.
No way. We chased him onto the highway right here at 90th Street. I know this neighborhood. That's where he got hit.
You still have the bat?
No. Lester grabbed it from me. He was one of the kids on foot.
He just came up and took the bat out of your hands?
Well, we struggled for it, pulling it back and forth.
Where was Michael Griffith at this point?
Halfway across, and we were past the guardrail screaming at it.
And then?
Griffith jumped over the guardrail and got in the accident. Sounded like a thud or a loud thump. His body went flying through the air. I got back in the car with Michael Perrone, and he was crying. That's the way it happened. I didn't kill nobody. You're not gonna send me to jail, are you?
Tensions ran high along Cross Bay Boulevard and Howard Beach. On one side, hundreds of angry white residents, and on the other, more than 1,000 marchers protesting the racial violence that led to the death of Michael Griffith. Police tried desperately to keep the 2 groups apart, but some on both sides were looking for a confrontation.
Real ugly, Dennis.
Leaders
They're at
of
each
marches,
other's throats.
many of them prominent in the black community, referred to Howard Beach as a neighborhood of hate and shame. We're here to prove we have a right to walk anywhere in America, one of the leaders told me. We know the enemy, and the enemy is racism.
Joe,
just trying to call it.
Here I am.
Joe, the political realities are overtaking us. The white community is up in arms.
Damn political realities. I got involved with the understanding that I'd be left alone to run this case exactly as I see fit.
Look, all we're asking is that you make some kind of progress report. Call in a couple of reporters. Tell them you're looking at possible indictments on both sides.
You know my position. I don't believe in press conferences.
Well, you're going to have to make an exception in this case, Joe. The city council has a great deal of exposure here.
Harry, any type of pretrial publicity is inherently unfair to the defendants.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Where the hell did they get this?
Someone leaked the statement Lester gave to the cops. If it turns out those white kids were merely acting in self-defense.
Speculation. They don't know if Lester's telling the truth.
All right. All I'm asking is for a simple one-paragraph statement to the press that we're making progress. Slow.
When I have a statement to make, I'll make it to the grand jury.
Yeah, these are great, Richard. Just came back from the lab. Thought you might want to take a look at them.
You know, I got a lot of problems with Riley's story. You think he's on the level?
I don't know. I bought some of it.
Just doesn't connect with anything we put together so far. Number one, how come there were no 911 calls from 90th Street if that's where all the commotion was?
Maybe the whole thing just happened too fast.
Okay. Even more important, how does Griffith's body get all the way from 90th Street down to this spot here where the cops found it?
Good question. Riley's story about the body flying through the air is just impossible.
Maybe we should go out to Randall's Island and test it.
Well, not necessary, Joe. Let me show you something. Griffith's right leg was shattered. That's the leg that was supporting his weight. Now take a look at the hip bone. Pulverized. His momentum was absorbed when he landed on the hood of the car. The cop says his body couldn't have traveled more than 20 feet.
Okay. Still think we should test it.
Come on, Joe. Look at here. There's a big crease in the edge of the hood. The body must have rolled off the side after impact, sheared off the rear view mirror, but left the antenna on the roof.
Richard, we're going to test it.
Dummy's the same height and weight as Griffith. The car is the same as the one that hit him.
It's 138 feet. The same distance from 90th Street to the spot where they found Griffith's body.
Sorry, Joe.
I'd say this makes Robert Riley look pretty good.
They chase a human being onto a busy highway. They see him crushed by a car at 55 miles an hour. They watch his body flying through the air almost half the length of a football field. Then they turn and chase another man 4 blocks and beat him to a bloody pulp with a metal bat. What kind of world is this?
My old theory is that Sandiford never deliberately lied to anybody. I think he just lost track after he and Michael got separated. When you combine that with the survivor guilt he must have been feeling...
guys, look at this. What's up? You know, I've been trying to find a legal precedent to support a murder charge. Well, I think I found it, and the similarities are mind-blowing.
This was in Boston?
Yeah, it's called the Savin Hill case. A gang of whites chased 3 black guys onto some railroad tracks and then straight through into a tunnel where they were killed by a commuter train. But get this. The white guys were convicted of murder 1.
I'd love to see the charge of the grand jury.
See, it's the whole idea of the tunnel that got me thinking. No way out and no way for the victims to escape. That's what changed it from an assault case to homicide.
Pack your bags, pal. You're going up to Beantown. Talk to the trial guys. Talk to the guys who handled the appeal.
Okay. The Savin Hill case gets us through the door.
But we've still got to corroborate Riley's testimony. In case you've forgotten, there's a law in this state that says accomplice testimony by itself is not sufficient to convict. We need some kind of hard evidence that puts the other kids in the scene.
Well, Riley mentions what? 5 kids, right? 4 others plus himself.
He can mention all the kids he wants. That's accomplice testimony, and it doesn't get them indicted, does it? Does it? Listen to me, people. This morning I got a phone call from the city council urging me to go back to the grand jury and reinstate assault charges against the white kids. I said no deal. We are this close to making the case for murder. This thing is bigger than just this one case. I read somewhere that racism is a lot like child abuse. The victims in one generation become the perpetrators in the next. Well, now's our chance to do our bit to break that cycle. Let's finish what we started. I'll be back, and I expect some answers.
We just gotta work with what we got. The accident data, the statements, the 85s, the 911 stuff.
What about the statements?
Well, we've been over them a million times. We tracked all the cars. We tracked every kid at the party.
What about tracking the metal bag?
Come on, Pam.
I'm serious. Just bear with me for a minute. We know Riley had the bat in his car when he drove to the pizza place. We know Scott Kern took it out of the back seat, banged on the ground during the confrontation. We know it found its way back into the car as they were chasing Griffith. We know Lester grabbed it out of Riley's hands when they got to 90th Street.
Wait a second. How many of them talk about the struggle for the bat?
Lester does. Kern does. Ladone does. Even Michael Perone.
So,
all 4 admit that they saw Lester and Riley struggling with the bat. We know that happened during the chase down 90th Street. That places all 4 of them alongside Riley at the murder scene by their own admission.
We got a case. We're ready for the grand jury.
I think we should tell Joe.
no!
This case is not a commentary on Howard Beach. It's about a group of men who are alleged to have committed some very serious crimes. It could have happened in any community in the world. It was caused by distrust and hatred of people who are different.
It happened in the Holocaust. It happens in South Africa. It also happens in Northern Ireland, where people have committed the crime of choosing the wrong religion.
In the charge I'm about to give you, I will be very specific about the offenses that were committed that night. But the lesson we must all draw from this is a simple one.
Unless we stop teaching our children to hate one another, the tragedy of Howard Beach will happen again.
Foreman just sent down for the indictment sheets.
With respect to the accused John Lester, he is hereby charged with the crimes of second-degree murder, attempted murder, manslaughter, assault, riot, inciting to riot, and conspiracy, and is ordered to stand trial on these charges in criminal court. With respect to the accused Jason Ladone, he is hereby charged with the crimes of attempted murder, manslaughter, assault, and riot.
He got it. Right. Gonna have to clean up that loose for you.
runaway grand jury can indict anyone it wants. We're not the least bit concerned.
Are you and your clients prepared to go to trial, Mr. Bernstein?
Certainly. There's not one piece of credible evidence whatsoever. Hence, we're anxious to get into a court of law and get this nonsense out of the way as expeditiously as possible.
Are you saying your clients weren't involved at all?
What I'm saying is, the issue is self-defense. We have reliable information that one of the black guys pulled a knife. Notwithstanding Mr. Hines' inflammatory contention, this was not a racial incident. These were not three lambs who wandered into Sodom. These were three antagonistic guys looking for a fight.
He's not going to argue the facts. He's just going to put the victims on trial.
Taken from master tapes 345, 445, and 545. Please stand by for message 1, a 911 call.
They are beating him. They're beating him up. They are beating up this black guy.
Is this in front of your house, ma'am?
You get a cop over here? They got him in the bushes and they're hitting him with the crowbar.
Teresa Fisher, our only eyewitness, and we still haven't tracked her down.
She's still in Florida someplace. She got some calls.
Sure she did.
Have you decided who's going to try the case?
Yeah, I am.
Oh? Great.
Why, who did you think was going to do it?
Well, Ed Boyer, maybe. He's a pretty good trial lawyer. He's got a hell of a track record.
Funny, I always thought of myself as a pretty good trial lawyer.
Well, sure you are, Joe, but you got a big future in politics. I figured you might not want to risk it. Besides.
Besides what?
Well, you got to be a little rusty. I mean, it's been a while.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Hey, I didn't mean you couldn't handle it. I mean, nobody thinks that.
Oh, yeah? Is there a lot of talk about it?
None. Well, very little.
Who's handling the defense?
Dick Bernstein, David Slaney. I went up against Slaney in a drug case out of Kennedy Airport last year. He's real good, Joe. He's gonna chew Sandiford up into little pieces and spit him out in front of the jury.
Joe, say hello to Detectives Hafner and Weiss. Hello? What do you do? They're gonna drive you home. Why? What's the problem? No problem. We just all live in the same neighborhood until the trial's over. The wise guys aren't happy. We're not taking any chances.
The jury will want to know exactly where you ran after you left the parking lot.
No sweat.
And exactly what you did when you saw the kids with the metal bat.
We already been over this, man.
I got news for you, Timothy. There are going to be 4 defense lawyers in this trial, and they're like a tag team. They're going to take turns trying to tear you apart. They're going to make you go over it and over it.
I get the message.
Tell the truth, it's easy. You don't have to try and remember what you already said.
Okay, so who came out the door first, you or Cedric?
I don't remember. For real?
Yeah.
Good, then that's the right answer. You saw the kids standing? Where?
He's moving towards us over by the fence.
Did you say anything?
Told Michael and Cedric, look out, here comes some guys, you know.
And then?
Showed him my knife.
What?
Pulled out my knife.
That's not what you told me before, Timothy. That is not what you told the grand jury, is it?
Look, you the man just said if I told the truth,
I know what I said. Why in God's name didn't
Didn't you tell me this before? Don't you see? If you had a knife, those boys can say they were acting in self-defense. Look, I flashed it at them to back them up. But you're saying you saw the bat first, before you came out with the blade. Damn right I saw the bat first. Everything okay here, Mr. Hines? Everything's just great.
Joe Hines to see Charlie Brasher.
How you doing? It's the fresh air and healthy diet.
Oh, I brought you some grapefruit and oranges. They're in the package room downstairs.
Beautiful. Because see, you're back in the headline. Howard Beach, about a hornet's nest. I'm surprised you had time to stop by.
Have I missed a month yet?
Oh, man, I'm not surprised.
No problem. I heard you were up at the feds last week.
Testifying in a prison drug trial. I helped nail some crooked guards upstate.
That should shorten your time.
We'll see.
I wish it could be tomorrow, Charlie.
I know. Someday it will be tomorrow. So when you go to trial?
Soon. Next week.
It's gonna feel good to be strutting your stuff again, huh?
Well, actually, I'm thinking of taking a step back on this one. I'm a little rusty.
I can't even tell when a kid is lying to me anymore.
So, you're not gonna try the case?
Not this one, no.
So you're saying the jury's not gonna be impressed if the state special prosecutor shows up to argue the case in person?
You can't win just by showing up. You know that. You gotta have the right skills. You gotta have the right instincts.
Hey, wait. What are you talking? Skills, instincts? You're the best trial lawyer in the state.
I wasn't in 1979.
You were then and you are now. If I had it to do all over again, I'd hire you in a second. You want to win this Howard Beach case?
It has to be won.
Then go out there and win it. And don't you dare put it in anyone else's hands. You hear me? Go on, get out of here. Get back. Next time, bring me some peaches. I like peaches.
Judge in 1979.
He's a former prosecutor.
He handled a lot of big cases. Alice Crimmins case, the Shade case where the cop shot the little kid.
How do you pronounce his name?
Colonellos. He decided to separate the case into two trials. He's going to deal with the murder charges first.
You say you recognize Dominique Bloom, the driver of the car that killed Michael, as one of your attackers.
I said that since day one.
Cedric, I want to show you something. Do you recognize him?
Sure, that's Dominic Bloom.
No, it's not. It's a graduation picture of Sal DeSimone, one of the kids who was at the pizza joint.
No, that's impossible. That's the kid that was in the car that night when he came back with his father.
What about him? Does he look familiar?
It's the same guy!
No, the second picture is Dominique Bloom. It's just one of those weird coincidences, Cedric. This is the kid who was driving the car. These kids never met each other. They're not related. They just happen to look very much alike. We also have some other evidence I want to show you.
town as long as I live.
Where were you when you heard it the first time, Cedric? Was it in the grass? Was it after they beat you?
No. It must have been before. I was looking toward the Parkway. Trying to see which way Michael ran. We got split up. I just couldn't help it.
Sir, were you aware of any television coverage, newspapers, or publicity of any kind surrounding this case when it first happened?
No, sir. I was visiting my sister up in Rhode Island.
I see. Fine. Thank you. Your Honor, I have no objections to this juror.
Stay in touch with the jury room clerk, Mr. Keegan. You may proceed, Mr. Bernstein.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Mrs. Mrs. Hairston. Mrs. Hairston? Mrs. Hairston, you live in a predominantly black section of Jamaica, Queens, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Let me ask you this. If you were seated on this jury, and after hearing all the evidence, you decided these defendants were not guilty, would you feel safe walking on the streets in your own neighborhood?
I object to that question, Judge. It's a cynical attempt to intimidate this juror.
Sustained.
Withdraw the question. And I'd like to exercise one of my peremptory challenges to dismiss this juror from the panel.
Your Honor, it's obvious that Mr. Bernstein is using his peremptory challenges to exclude all black jurors from this trial.
Oh, please.
Judge, our client's Sixth Amendment right to an impartial jury allows us to make unrestricted challenges.
Your Honor, Batson versus Kentucky, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled last year that peremptory challenges by prosecutors must be free from racial bias.
I'm familiar with the Batson case, Mr. Hines. And it does seem to me that the court's reasoning should apply to defense lawyers as well. No juror will be excluded from this case solely because of race.
Is this a historic decision, Mr. Hines?
It's a courageous decision, and it's fair.
We're going to have to deal with.
And don't forget, a beetle was found alongside Griffith's body. Now, that ought to tell you something.
All we know is that the beeper was taken from the construction site where Michael Griffith worked.
We will prove that Sandiford, Griffith, and Grimes are the aggressors here.
You're saying that they were in Howard Beach for a reason, Mr. Slaney?
All I can tell you is they were riding in a car that belongs to a major cocaine dealer from Tampa, Florida.
Any comment on that, Mr. Hines?
Michael and Cedric were attacked for one reason, because they were black. That's the truth, and the world's going to know it.
Excuse us. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Remember to keep your voice up, Joe. It's a big courtroom. Better hang on to this just in case.
I know that thing backwards and forwards.
Howard Beach case finally gets underway. The case has been called a racial Rorschach test for the entire country. At a time when drug-related crimes by blacks have inspired fear and outrage in white communities.
What do you say, fellas? It's almost 10 o'clock.
After hearing all the evidence, there are only two questions you will have to decide. Who killed Michael Griffith? And who chased Cedric Sandiford and beat him so savagely with tree limbs and a bat that he required 66 stitches to close up his wounds? Ladies and gentlemen, it will become very, very clear to you that as Michael Griffith veered off onto 90th Street, a short, narrow block, surrounded by wrought iron, chain link, and wooden fences. And as he was chased by an automobile and by people on foot who were armed with weapons and who were shouting threats of violence, that short, narrow block became, in every sense, a tunnel. The only escape from which was to place the traffic of the Belt Parkway between himself and his attackers.
You will learn that most of Mr. Hines's witnesses have given 2 and 3 and 4 different stories. You'll hear Robert Riley admit that he bought his way out of this case, that he sold his soul so that he wouldn't have to sit here with the other defendants. And I'll show that when this incident occurred, Cedric Sandiford refused to cooperate with the police. Now, is that normal behavior for a man who was supposedly an innocent victim? I mean, Grimes wouldn't cooperate either. And then, lo and behold, it turns out that their friend Griffith had substantial amounts of cocaine in his system.
That's disgraceful.
You going to prove that, Mr. Slaney?
Yeah, I'm going to prove that.
He's seen the lab report. There was very little cocaine in Michael's system.
And I will show that from the start, Mr. Hines targeted these young men. Whether there was any evidence or not, he was going to push this round peg into the square hole, no matter how he got it in.
It's a zoo out there.
You get Grimes into the building?
Yeah, he's in the witness room.
Thanks.
Here's his rap sheet. He's no choir boy.
I'm going to get all this bad stuff out of the way first. If the jury hears it from Bernstein and Slaney, it'll look like we're trying to cover it up. Doug making any progress locating Teresa Fisher?
Not that I know of.
Timothy Grimes, have you ever used drugs?
Yes.
What kind of drugs?
Marijuana, cocaine, and crack.
Mr. Grimes, on September 12th, 1982, were you arrested for the crime of robbery?
Yes.
Do you also recall being arrested in October 1986 and charged with assault?
Yes.
Shortly after the incident in Howard Beach, were you arrested and once again charged with assault?
Yes.
Who were you accused of assaulting?
My girlfriend.
Mr. Grimes, you told us this morning that you committed a robbery on September the 12th. Is that correct?
What year?
Oh? Well, just how many stick-ups have you committed?
Sustained. Come on now, Mr. Slaney.
So, do you remember that you and your friend stuck up Mrs. Vitale and her husband? Do you recall that incident?
Yes.
And you told us that it was something that just came up out of the blue. Is that correct? Well, sir, did you plan the robbery?
No.
So, What you're saying is that you are the type of person who, when he's out walking on the street, as soon as he sees some poor victim, why, he just goes over and rips him off. So, when your friend stuck the gun to Mrs. Vitale in the car, you were there, weren't you?
Yes.
And she was afraid, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, well, sir, I'll bet she was really afraid when you told her, get over here or we'll kill you. Didn't you tell her that?
No.
So, did you testify in the grand jury that you did not have a knife with you outside the pizza parlor?
That's right.
And yet now you have told us that you, in fact, did have a knife.
Yeah.
So you lied to the grand jury, didn't you?
I must have got mixed up.
Mixed up. Do you know what perjury is? Do you remember when the foreman told you to raise your right hand?
Mr. Slaney, I'm warning you.
Sir, where was your knife?
In my front pocket.
How did you open your knife? How did you open it? I mean, was it one of those gravity knives that when it's open, it's got two sides to it? You are familiar with knives, aren't you? How many blades did it have? Was it a butterfly knife? Did you see Mr. Sandiford pull out a knife? Did you see Mr. Sandiford pull out a knife?
No.
Well, sir, after you came out of the pizza parlor, you saw the white boys, you pulled out your knife. Did you say anything to Sandiford or Griffith?
I don't remember.
Okay. Who ran away first? Did you run away first?
I don't remember.
Well, now, you pull your knife out, they come toward you, correct?
Yes.
Now, is it at that point that you ran away?
Yeah.
When you didn't have the knife out, you stayed. When you did have the knife out...
I'm finished. I don't want to deal with this. Sit down. I'm going to put up with this crap. I'm going home, man.
You said you'd keep Grimes on the stand until you broke him down. Is that what you feel you accomplished?
Grimes has no respect for the court, no respect for the jury. He's got no respect for anyone. And the jury is beginning to realize who the aggressor is here. Excuse me.
Sir, how about a steak?
Slaney was absolutely brilliant. If he gets to Sandiford like that, it's all over.
I've been watching the jury, Joe. They didn't like Grimes even before he stormed out of there. How do you neutralize an impression like that? How do you make them focus on the bigger issue?
Mr. Hines, you have a witness or not?
I believe so, Your Honor. It'll just be a moment.
What the hell's going on?
She all right? She's nervous as hell. She's a real gutsy lady.
Your Honor, the people called Teresa Fisher.
Mrs. Fisher, do you remember where you were on the evening in question?
Yes. At my sister Angie's house in Howard Beach, getting my hair done.
At 12:45 or thereafter, did anything unusual happen?
There was a lot of screaming outside the house. I got up and ran to the front door and looked outside, and I saw a whole bunch of white guys beating up on this black guy across the street.
Did you notice if any of the white boys had weapons?
Well, at that time, a crowbar was being used on the black guy. One of the other kids had a tree stump.
Would you tell the jury how the crowbar was being used?
They chased the black guy to the fence, and he was trying to climb over, but they dragged him down, started kicking him and beating him with it, like this.
Now, at this point,
Did you make a telephone call?
Yes, I did. I called 911.
Mrs. Fisher, I'm confused. You told us you were on the porch, the front porch, in the middle of a phone call to 911. You told us you were frightened. You told us it was dark out, and your sister was trying to pull you back in the house. And yet somehow you managed to see everything that was going on across the street.
That's right.
You also told us you saw the black guy, as you described him, leave the area around the fence.
Yes. I just handed the phone to my sister.
Mm-hmm. Which way did he go, Mrs. Fisher?
Right up to the house. There's a broken down car parked out front. Black guy ran up to the car and he looked straight at me.
Did he say anything?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said, please help me. They're gonna kill me.
Did you go back in the house then?
I'd moved myself halfway and half of myself was out. I says to Auntie...
Listen to the question, please. Did you go back in the house then, yes or no?
She went back halfway in, all right?
I'd like an answer to my question, please. You indicated at one point you went outside for several minutes.
He's getting me upset, Judge. This is ridiculous. This is crazy.
Please.
Your Honor, could we have a moment?
Do you have another question, Mr. Bernstein?
I certainly do. Okay. You're halfway inside the house. What happened then?
Well, my other sister, Rosa, came back with my car.
And?
And I got my stuff, and I got in my car, and I drove around the neighborhood looking for the black guy.
Oh, okay. Now, in driving around, how long did you drive around?
Your Honor, this kind of harassment.
I'm trying to establish a meaningful time sequence.
I was screaming out of my car, would you please come? I'm trying to help you. I'm the girl you saw standing on the stoop, and I want to get you out of the neighborhood.
I'll ask you again, Mrs. Fisher. How long were you driving around? Was it 5 minutes? Was it 10 minutes? Was it an hour and 20 minutes?
You're asking me minutes. If you were there, you can't keep track of minutes when there's someone you think is about to die. You don't know what you're asking. You're asking me minutes? I was worried about this guy's life.
I'm counting on you to stay cool.
You got it.
Cedric, where were you born?
Guyana, South America.
What is your status currently in the United States? Truth, Cedric. You know Slaney will be lying in wait for you.
Illegal alien.
Beautiful. Ever serve in the armed forces of the United States?
Yes, sir, from 1968 to 1970.
Any special training?
Combat medic, assigned 2nd General Hospital, Mannheim, Germany.
What were your duties?
Joe, better get the phone. Support. He's coming.
Hello, Hines. What do you mean a computational error? How is that even possible? Well, they damn well ought to find out whose fault it was and shoot him. The ME's office really did a job on us. They say Griffith had 10 times as much cocaine in his system as we thought previously.
What? They ran more tests?
They ran a million tests. There was some kind of screw-up in the lab.
Bernstein and Slaney are going to have a field day.
Tell me about it. Still a tiny amount of cocaine, less than a milligram per liter. We'll get Dr. Haber, the toxicologist from
Cornell,
to explain it to the jury. Maybe it'll sound better coming from an expert.
Mm-hmm. If you believe that, I got some swampland I want to talk to you about.
And you testified this morning that you developed a drug problem in the Army.
Yes, sir.
What exactly was your drug problem?
I did marijuana and cocaine. At the time, I didn't think I had a problem.
Well, how much marijuana and cocaine did you do that you didn't think you had a drug problem?
Wait a minute.
Already?
Mr. Slaney, I don't like that remark, already. That suggests to me that you may be up to something that you shouldn't be up to.
Thank you.
Well, sir. You also testified that you had 2 arrests, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I believe one was for possession of a sawed-off shotgun.
Failing to register a sawed-off shotgun.
Can you register a sawed-off shotgun?
That's objected to.
Sustained.
Yes or no? Is it legal to have a sawed-off shotgun anywhere in this United States?
Objection. He's at it again, Your Honor.
Sustained. Mr. Slaney, you're asking argumentative questions.
Yes or no is argumentative?
Sustained.
You testified before the grand jury. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall being asked these questions and giving these answers? Question. After you ran 3 or 4 blocks, what happened? Answer. They caught up with us. Question. How far did you run before you had the next contact with this group? Answer. I ran about 3 more blocks, and they caught up with us again. Recall being asked those questions and giving those answers?
Yes, sir.
And the us in those answers, sir. Didn't that refer to you and Michael Griffith?
No, sir. Speaking about me to the grand jury, sir.
And you were referring to yourself as us?
I must have misused the word, sir.
Isn't it a fact, Mr. Sanford, that the last time you saw Michael Griffith, he was crawling through that hole in the fence at 86th Street?
No, sir. The last time I saw Michael, he was dead on the Parkway.
In making their summations, counsel will review the evidence you've seen and heard. However, you, and you alone, are the sole and exclusive judges of the facts. Mr. Slaney.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're lucky in one respect. I have a sore throat and a cough, so I won't be able to yell very much. On the other hand, I'm going to have to stand pretty close, so I hope you don't catch it. Would any one of you want to be in the position our clients have been put in here? I mean, all they did was go to a pizza place because some kid came back from the party and said there'd been an argument. Well, that's a terrible thing, according to the prosecution. And yet, on the other hand, let's take a look at what Mr. Hines says is completely okay. Driving around with a sawed-off shotgun, that's okay. Robbing an old lady, that's okay. Stabbing your girlfriend and taking the money to buy drugs, that's okay. There is not one damn thing wrong with anything their witnesses did. It's just, hey, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Excuse me. I don't understand how Sandiford and Grimes can come in here and tell us 50 different versions of what happened that night. And the prosecution backs them up and says, forget the fact that all those other versions were barefaced lies. I mean, if you were in the street, you would slap somebody for insulting your intelligence, telling you all these stories.
truth is, somebody died here. By accident. An accident brought on by stupidity. Racism had nothing to do with it. I mean, these kids didn't have knives on them. And they didn't lie to you either. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Robert Ryder was the catalyst. He was the one with the metal bat. And yet Mr. Hines would have you convict these 4 kids who did nothing more than stand there and wet their pants? I mean, this thing has been blown so far out of proportion, it's ridiculous. So, in conclusion, I would ask each one of you to give these kids the same fair shake that you would want for yourself. Because if you convict them, somehow, we will all suffer.
What did you think?
He certainly had them leaning his way, that's for sure.
The judge wants me to go ahead with my summation.
It's almost 6:30. The jury's all wrung out.
If I let him sleep on it, Slaney's rhetoric has a chance to sink in.
I don't know. It's a toss-up, Joe.
You certainly don't want to brood about it till tomorrow morning.
Many years ago, our nation established a principle that the color of a person's skin cannot dictate where he or she goes to school, where he can sit on a bus, or which lunch counter he can eat at. Nor can it determine where one travels or when a person's time to die is. So no matter how the lawyers for these defendants try to destroy the reputations and character of Michael Griffith, Cedric Sandiford, and Timothy Grimes, the law and fundamental principles of human dignity say they were entitled to walk the streets of Queens County without fear of violent attack, humiliation, or death. Remember, please, that Cedric Sandiford is not on trial here. He's the victim. Remember, please, that Timothy Grimes is not on trial. He's the victim. Nor is the memory of Michael Griffith on trial. He was a victim. These 4 defendants sitting in front of you are on trial. What kind of people are they? They never lifted a finger to help the human being crushed by a car 30 yards in front of them. Instead, they reacted with utter depravity and total indifference. They turned, chased down another human being, and savagely beat him with a tree limb and a metal bat. Use the evidence to picture what really happened that night. If you do, you will see them not as they look today, but as they looked then, their faces twisted with hate, yelling filthy racial epithets and threats of violence as they chased Michael Griffith through the streets of Howard Beach to a horrible death. You can't roll back the clock. You can't change anything that happened that night. Your verdict can be the spark to light the candle of justice that will be seen for decades to come.
going on?
The jury sent down a note asking to see Grimes' testimony on the confrontation at the pizza joint.
Not a good sign. Means they're probably arguing about self-defense.
All it takes is one holdout, and everything we've been working for goes right out the window.
He's been out for 10 days. It's gonna be a mistrial.
I gotta get some aspirin.
I'll take a walk with you.
How many you got?
6.
7.
I'm worried about Michael Barone. The jury might be skeptical that a kid with a limp could chase some guy out onto the highway.
That's absurd. The verdict hinges on that when dead. Hi. See them? I'll bet there's not a hater in the group.
Madam Forelady, have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor. As to the defendant, Michael Perrone, we find him not guilty on all counts. As to the defendant, John Lester, we find him guilty of manslaughter in the second degree and assault in the first degree and conspiracy. As to the defendant, Scott Kern, we find him guilty of manslaughter in the second degree, assault in the first degree, and conspiracy. As to the defendant, Jason Ladone, we find him guilty of manslaughter in the second degree and assault in the first degree.
Message loud and clear that mindless intolerance must end.
Mr. Hines, was this the most significant victory of your career?
There are no winners today. Families have been destroyed. On both sides.
Does this mean that the destruction of black life will no longer be tolerated?
The destruction of any life.
Okay, all right.
Have you anything to say before I pronounce sentence?
Your Honor, I'd like to say publicly, I'm sorry, Mrs. Griffith, for your senseless loss. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, that your lives and hopes have been so violently turned around. And to the court, I'd like to say, one young man is dead and another one stands before you. I've learned how perhaps it takes more courage to say, no, I won't do this because everyone else is doing it, or no, I won't do that because everyone else is doing it. I didn't go to that party to hurt anyone or get involved in a racial incident. I went for the same reason kids always go to parties. To hang out and have a good time. We now know too well how and where that good time ended. I hope I get the opportunity and the time to make my life a productive one.
John Lester was sentenced to the maximum of 10 to 30 years in prison. Scott Kern was sentenced to 6 to 18 years. And Jason Ladone received 5 to 15. The convictions were upheld on appeal, A further appeal is pending in a higher court. Joe Hines continued to serve as New York State Special Prosecutor until June 1989.